Hey everybody, Past Plays PVTV. Just another beautiful Monday here in Puerto Vallarta. We want to bring you up to speed on a little drama that we've come across over the weekend. The one, first one, we'll do the two-part. The first one's Nayarit. So as of July of last year, July of 2023, Nayarit said basically for you to register a vehicle in the state of Nayarit, you must have a factura, federal tax invoice in your name, not your name written on the back of it, like the good old days where you take the dealership invoice and release it to so and so, or they would release it to you. Now it's required that they have an RFC that's active. They go into the system and they go ahead and put in your information. You don't have to have an RFC, right, to be the recipient, but you have to have one to generate one. And the correct way is for the seller to go ahead and collect 16% sales tax, EVA, sales tax, from the buyer and remit that to the federal government as a sales tax. Then the seller also has the obligation of paying up to 35% income tax on the sale. So, I mean, that's pretty much a deal breaker right there for a lot. A lot of people say, I don't have residency, or Mexicans are like, I'm not going to go ahead and get on the government's radar. No thanks. So this creates an issue now because a lot of people that don't want to do that, if they want to get their vehicle registered, we have to do it in Jalisco. They go, but I want Nayarit plates. I live in Nayarit. This is Mexico. You can't have what you want. Sometimes you get what you need, right? In this case, you need to go with the Jalisco option. It's legal, right? You'll pay 7% vehicle acquisition tax. Boom, done, right? And then you're all set. So, unfortunately, for a number of years, and what kind of precipitated this in part is that a lot of helpers, right, people that help people do their registration in Nayarit would go ahead and still, now people say, I can get you Nayarit plates, and this happened. One of the guys that helps people get Nayarit plates got in my face because he said, you said to so-and-so that what we do is illegal. I said, no, but it's not the correct way. What's happening is, to avoid tax in Nayarit previously, and now what people will go ahead and do is they'll go ahead and say, okay, the car was sold from the car dealership, right, to Bob. Bob sells it to me. But to avoid paying the vehicle acquisition tax in Nayarit, what people would do is they go ahead and get a throwaway ghost company, ghost person, whatever you want to call it, right, who would go ahead and generate a federal tax invoice in their name saying that 16% tax was collected and that they're going to pay it. Well, they never pay it, right? they never pay it. So now, by doing so, that allows the buyer to evade that state tax there for Nayarit. So, and it's funny because they're really obvious, because they'll say it's a Kia, and it will say have the Kia logo on this factura, but when you look at the person that generated the factura, her name's Carla Rodriguez, right? And they're like, okay, well, there's no Kia in Carla's name. So again, this is a flag that it's a throwaway person that's go ahead and generating this. They charge, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 pesos, or the person that helps you charges that for that. The throwaway person, I don't know, maybe they get 500 pesos. Maybe they don't even know that they're just getting blown up with that, somebody that's just unaware. So anyways, this gets complicated, and this is going on so long because when you look at the sequence, the car was sold to Bob by Kia, and then it jumps to Carla, the fake Kia dealer, and Carla generates the factura in my name, right, to evade taxes. Well, that works in Nayarit, right? But they do have a burn list now. They go, oh, Carla's had too many times her name's been used. Now we're blocking that. So that's a whole other issue, because if you do that, well, the big issue is when I go to register the car in Jalisco, right? When I go to register the car in Jalisco says, hey, where's the sequence of ownership? It was sold by Kia to Bob. Bob paid to have it registered in his name. And then let's say, for example, I registered my name in Nayarit to avoid the taxes, and I sell it to you. And you're going to register, you have to register it in Jalisco now, because I'm choosing not to generate a factura in your name, right? So when you go to Jalisco goes, okay, well, Carla Kia, fake Kia, never registered it in her name, right? And so you have to pay a 7%, 8% vehicle acquisition tax for yourself to register it in the state of Jalisco, plus roughly 4,700 pesos for the plates. And you have to pay for Carla, because Carla never registered in her name. There's a sequence. The sequence was broken. Well, I've got this one client. She bought the Kia, right? And she bought it from Bob, right? And Bob had used one of these throwaway companies. And then this person, not my client, a follower, they went ahead and they had a friend that has a company generate a factura in their name. So basically another, straw company in their name, right? And now they sold it to a person, right? So I had to explain to him and said, she goes, the person's not answering my phone calls and they have my plates. I go, well, you should always cancel your plates when you sell a vehicle, especially in Nayarit. Jalisco, if you trust the person, but even then you can't even really trust them, right? Unless you have somebody trustworthy doing it for you. And so this is the issue, because now her buyer, right, is getting whacked with 7% for Carla, right? 7% for herself, and then 7% for themselves. So for them to register this car, this 2019 Kia in their name, the person, to do it right, to clean up the paperwork, is going to have to pay 21% tax to register in their name, right? So, it's, what a show. So, this is what I'm trying to say when we tell you, okay, do it to Jalisco. We'll move your vehicle that you bought, and know you live in Nayarit, but we're going to register in Jalisco so we can do it right. And then you go off to somebody else I'm talking to. You go off and you go to somebody says, I can register in your name in Nayarit. They're using one of those throwaway companies. And yes, it's in your name. But if that company gets banned by Nayarit, that's now an invalid factura for Nayarit and can't be used again. Or if your buyer takes it to Jalisco, you're getting whacked. There's a double tax. The tax 7% for your buyer, tax for the straw company, and if there's other ones, and this we see sometimes 3 or 4, so you're looking at 28% tax. The person buys the car from you, they are PO'd. They are upset because they can't register it in Nayarit, and the only option is Jalisco, unless you go with some other place. But you do the Chiapas or all that stuff, Chiapas or Morelos, or like, that's messy as well. Anyways, you got questions, go ahead, reach out to us, Pat's Place PVTV. We do your paperwork right, the way it needs to be, and people go, oh, 7%. Yeah, well, it's better than 16% federal tax, right? So, just do it the right way. Do it the way it needs to be done. Pay your taxes. You wouldn't be evading your taxes back home. Don't evade your taxes here. And I know the person's telling you, your helper's saying, oh, we got it all fixed, we got it all taken care of. They get paid, they get their money, and then they go like this when you go, oh, I've got an issue with my buyer because now they're saying they have to pay a double tax because of the paperwork you gave me. You go back to that person that helped you, they're going, wash their hands, they're done with you. All right, thanks for watching Pat's Place PVTV.